Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senior Vice President and General Manager of the IoT and Collaboration Technology Group, Rowan Trollope.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Collaboration Summit 2015. Thank you for coming here to San Francisco, and especially thanks to all of you. I see a few of you in the front row who were at the bar last night at midnight for actually showing up in the morning. So thank you very much. We have had, over the last year, just an incredibly busy year. And so we've got a lot to talk about. So why don't we start out by doing a quick recap of what's happened over the last year. How does that sound? Sound good? Okay. Let's jump right into it. So last year we actually turned the business around from 2 years of declines, and now we have had, over the last 4 quarters of consecutive growth in the collaboration business. The business really took off over the last year. And in fact, the last 2 quarters, we had double-digit growth in the collaboration business, with our last quarter coming in, if you didn't listen to our earnings call, at 17% growth year over year. And to put that into context, that was our fiscal Q1, and that was the largest quarter for collaboration in the history of Cisco, bigger than any other quarter, including our other large quarters, which are usually Q4s. So it was a really incredible run over the last 4 quarters. So I just have to sort of pause right there and say thank you to everyone here. Yes, thank you all very much. In addition to the financial performance, we saw market share gains across all of the major categories where we play. Starting with our telephone business, 41% market share, UC. To our video conferencing business, up to a stunning 50% market share with our brand new award-winning endpoints. And finally, up to 52% market share in web conferencing. Now, all of that growth is great, but more important than the numbers, it really shows that you like what we're doing and you believe in where we're going. And that, to me, is the most important thing. So thank you for being on board with us. All of our partners, all of our customers who are here today, everyone who's watching on the phone, we really owe you a big round of applause for making this such a terrific year for Cisco collaboration. And of course, this year is just the beginning. So I would like to just say thank you very much. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you. Now, in additional financial results, last year was a big year in terms of announcements for us. At Collaboration Summit, actually, show of hands, who was here last year? Or actually, we were in Los Angeles. Show of hands. Okay. A good chunk of you. That's great. So you all remember last year we announced Project Squared, which we later renamed to Spark. A big announcement for us, and you're going to hear more about that today. We also announced earlier this year the acquisition of Tropo. We have some of the Tropo folks in the room? Yes? 2 of them, 3. Okay, it's a small team. Small but powerful, right? And you're going to hear about the fruits of their labor since they've been on board at Cisco, because it's been really incredible, and we're very, very excited about that. And then finally, just recently, we announced our intention to acquire Econo. And this is a big one, yep. A big acquisition for us. An incredible team. When we thought about how can we accelerate the growth that we're seeing in the collaboration business over the last 4 quarters, what technologies and what teams were out in the marketplace that would really make a difference. And Econo was at the very top of that list, and so we're really, really thrilled to be able to welcome the Econo team on board into the Cisco collaboration family. And finally, sort of the biggest announcement of all, I think, that we made last year was this one, the Apple and Cisco partnership. In fact, at our global sales conference, Tim Cook showed up in the morning, and he got on stage at the MGM, 20,000 Cisco sellers, and the very first thing he said when he walked on stage is he said, and I quote, "This is going to be huge." Tim Cook. Now, I agree, Tim. I think it's going to be huge, too. For Cisco, we've been talking about redefining the user experience in collaboration. And nobody knows redefining user experiences like Apple. I think you would agree with that. And so for us, it's an incredible partnership to be able to do some amazing things with the assets and the capabilities and the brand that Apple have. For Apple, if you've listened to Tim talk, he's talked about what he said is Apple has changed the way you live. And I think we can all relate to that with their incredible introductions of products. They've changed the way you live. And Tim says now we want to change the way you work and make that much, much better. And nobody knows about work and collaboration and how people work better than Cisco. So this is really an incredible partnership for both companies. And I would like to just echo what Tim said. This is going to be huge. So we're really, really excited. And you will be hearing more about that this week from Jim Doran, who will be speaking on the Apple and Cisco relationship. So very excited about that. Now we have one other person to thank before we kick off with the announcements. And that's really been internally at Cisco. We've had our biggest supporter internally that's been helping drive this growth. This person was an early adopter of Spark, an executive at Cisco who was an early adopter of Spark, and really a true believer in collaboration. And that person is our brand new CEO, Chuck Robbins. Now, Chuck really impressed me when I first met him. In fact, he reminded me of this last night when we were prepping to come up and talk today. But during my job interview, when Chuck interviewed me, he said, "How are you going to make this," and he pointed to his iPhone at the time, it was probably an iPhone, I don't know, 4, "work with this," and he pointed to the desk phone. And I said, "I can do that, Chuck." And so fast forward 3 years, guess what you're going to hear today? We're very excited about that. So Chuck really impressed me because he dove right into the details of the business. And he has been an incredible supporter of the collaboration business. When we introduced our brand new DX80, he jumped right on board and agreed to buy 20,000 of them so that every single seller in Cisco could have the telepresence experience right at their desk or at their home. So he's been a huge supporter, and we are very, very lucky today to be able to have Chuck come and join us and talk about Cisco and collaboration. And so please put your hands together and give me a very warm welcome for our CEO, Chuck Robbins. Everybody, Chuck Robbins. Good to see you.
All right, let me help you back here, man.
Thank you.
That's some sort of collaboration between us. So I just have to laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
So Rowan and I are prepping for this, and I said, "Rowan, I think you should make a really big deal out of the last 2 quarters. You know, you grew 14% and 17%. He said, "Let's just keep it low key. Let's just double digits," right? He comes out and says, "We just grew 17%.
I take advice. I know when a good idea comes across. So Chuck, ever since I first talked to you 3 years ago, you know, you've been in the guts of the collaboration business, and you've been a huge supporter for the last 3 years. So I just thanked you, and I want to repeat that. You know, it has been an incredible partnership, and your leadership has really helped to drive the growth and the awareness of collaboration. I think the question that I get, and I'd love for you to address this, is some of the questions I get are around, you know, how much is Cisco committed to collaboration?
Yeah.
You know, one of the quotes we had on stage before we came out was, you know, Cisco might exit the video business. And so give me just help the audience. I think you get this question too. Cisco committed to collaboration, and why? How does it fit in?
Well, you know, it's amazing. I want to also thank Rowan, because I think all of you who have been with us on this journey for the last, I don't know, probably decade in this space or more, yeah, he's made a tremendous difference in the 3 years that he's been here. And when he came in, I remember we were talking about it exactly where I was when we had the conversation that we had. And I said, "It's just silly. Why doesn't this stuff work more better together?" And so a lot of the announcements today are things that we talked about 3 years ago. So I'm really pleased with that. But if you look at the collaboration portfolio, you know, there are 3 key reasons that I think it's very important to our business. Number one, everything we've done as a company for the last 3 decades has been around connectivity, around convergence, but ultimately it's been around driving productivity. And what better technology do we have today to drive productivity of our customers, governments, cities, around the world than collaboration, both internally inside of organizations, but also increasingly how customers leverage the technology to engage with their customers and to drive richer interactions with their customers, which creates more customer intimacy, greater loyalty from the customer base. So it's very important to us from that perspective. The second is this whole move to digitization. I fundamentally don't believe that you can build a comprehensive digitization strategy without collaboration technologies, period. And particularly if you look at smart cities, you think about how governments are leveraging the technology, the delivery of citizen services over long distances, delivering education and health care to rural areas that otherwise wouldn't have it. That's at the core of collaboration. And then the third reason, which is very near and dear to my heart, is it's a $4.5 billion business growing in double digits. So we like it a lot, Rowan, so thank you.
And it needs to keep growing in double digits.
That's exactly right. I also want to just thank all the partners out there. I know this audience is full of our partners, and you guys have been steadfast, supportive, and unbelievable with us on this journey. So thank you guys for everything you've done.
So Chuck, we're going to talk a lot about Spark today, and I mentioned that you were an early adopter of Spark, yes. which you were. Could you tell me about that and how you used it with your team and others?
Well, I think the irony is that I wasn't the first Spark user in my family. Right?
That's
so
right.
I have a son who at the time was 13 years old, and he's a bit of a Renaissance man, I would say. He's an entrepreneur, he's a basketball player, he writes code, he loves technology, he's a photographer. And he had a day off of school, and he wanted to go spend it with engineers at Cisco. And so Rowan said, send him to the city, and I'll have him work with our team. And so he came up, and I actually see a couple of people nodding in the audience who probably remember my son coming up. And he went to San Francisco, spent a day with the team, and at the time it was called Project Squared. And he actually became an alpha user. And they created a room at the time, and it was my son, Rowan, and me. And I ultimately had to leave the room because I couldn't keep up with all the chatter going on back and forth with these guys. But so I've been a big believer. I think that it's since the inception of the technology, and I knew where we were going to take it. It was more than just a set of virtual meeting rooms. And I knew where Rowan wanted to take it, where the team wanted to take it. But even as I announced my new leadership team at Cisco 6 months ago, one of the first things I did is I set up a Spark room for our leadership so that we can constantly communicate. And in fact, backstage, I just sent them a note and said, make sure all of you are up to speed on the announcement we're making today. It's going over well so that you can have the appropriate conversations with your customers. So I love it. I love all the stuff you're doing. I love the industrial design awards you're winning. It's all great.
And Chase gives us really good feedback, by the way.
My son still tells me stuff going on at Cisco that I'm not aware of. So.
I know, Chuck, that you spend a lot of time with our customers, and clearly the financial results, stand out. But what about the feedback that you get from customers on collaboration and the overall portfolio that Cisco has?
Our customers love it for the reasons I mentioned earlier. They believe that not only does it just, the customers used to look at it as a productivity enhancement for their employees. They don't even think about that anymore. They just think of it as a necessary business tool, right? This is just something that we use, we have, whether it's web conferencing, meetings, messaging, video, or just the ability to communicate across all those media. It's just part of how they think about how they run their business now. It's really amazing to have seen that occur. The two things that they've really been focused on were we want it to be completely interoperable across not only your portfolio but others. And that's one of the key benefits, as we said, of the Econo acquisition that we haven't closed yet. The second thing that they said is, I want to be able to use this technology on-premise, in the cloud, or a combination of the two. And the great news, Rowan, is that you're actually announcing that today as well. So those are the things they wanted to see from us, in addition to loving the design. Actually, some of our people thought, well, yeah, the industrial design, they're beautiful units. When Rowan stood on stage and said, look at this, isn't it lovely? But when you start thinking about putting these in branch locations in retail, you actually do want that device it represents part of how that company shows up to their customers. So it matters a lot, and so they love it. They love everything that you're doing. And many of our customers actually had recommended to me that we make this certain acquisition that we made, and I'll tell you that it required my best poker face in having those discussions. So.
Yeah, and to that point, I don't know if that was your first major acquisition as new CEO, or was it maybe at that size? I'm not sure. But it was certainly a big one, and to come right out of the gates as new CEO, I mean, we had many conversations about that.
It's pretty bad when I've been in the job 4 months, and I can't remember if that was the first one or not, because we've been pretty active. But I think it was, because I remember speaking to you on Labor Day weekend, right?
Or Labor Day, yeah. So, so clearly you've made an investment in the business.
Yes.
Over not with the acquisitions, but with what you were doing with the sales force. Expectations. Tell me about expectations for the coming year, and what do you expect from the business?
Well, I was going to say double-digit growth, but we'll just go with 17 now.
Oh yeah, right. Let's tamp that down a little bit.
Now, you know, I think if you really look at what has occurred for us, not only have you guys built a tremendous portfolio that's resonating with our customers clearly, you drove the prices down on this portfolio to make it more accessible across the entire infrastructure of our customer base. And, you know, my expectation is that what we need to really drive is this universal proliferation of video, and the simplicity of making those calls and those interactions. It needs to feel like a phone call. And that's what we have had as our ultimate destination for probably 7 to 8 to 10 years, is we all said that's where we need to get to, and I think you're making a huge step towards that today. I think the interoperability, the partnership with Apple, the ability to just continue to simplify the user experience for our customers, all at the same time delivering the tremendous business results that you have. That's what I would like to see.
That's all?
That's it.
All right, well, we got a great team to deliver on that. So from all of us, just want to say thank you, and we're going to strive hard to live up to those expectations.
So thank all of you for spending time with us today, and thanks, Rowan, and I know you have a lot of your team members here. You guys have done an amazing job, and we have incredibly high expectations of you going forward. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you. All right. So, I don't normally get dressed up for much. As you can see, today I'm not wearing my Converse, I'm wearing actual shoes and a jacket and a shirt, so something big must be happening today. But before I talk to you about that, I want to talk to you about the reason behind everything else we're going to tell you today, and I'm going to tell you a story. And this story sort of explains the rationale. Why is it that I get out of bed? Why does my team get out of bed in the morning? What gets us excited? And for me particularly, this is a story, this happened several years ago in the middle of the Las Vegas desert. We were in a hangar, and I was wearing a flight jumpsuit sitting in it looked like a scene out of Top Gun. I'm wearing a flight jumpsuit, and I'm sitting in a little chair. And there's a lady named Jennifer at the front of the room. And she's briefing us on a flight that we're about to take, where we will experience for the first time what it is like to experience zero gravity. Has anybody ever heard of this zero gravity experience? Show of hands. Okay, a few of you. Anybody done it? Zero gravity experience? One person. Okay, so this is this is how they train astronauts. They send them up in these converted 727s. And they go up high, and then they do these parabolic loops, and as you're diving, you're in this, it's a totally cleared out plane, and so it's a really big chamber. And when they do the dive, you actually are weightless, and you do that a bunch of times. And so I'm training to sort of be able to go and do this. And the lady, Jennifer, is explaining this process. She says, well, you're going to lay down on the ground, and it's this big white room, and you're going to lay down on the ground in this room, and then we're going to do a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then, for the first time in your life, you will float off the ground and experience weightlessness. Real weightlessness. Not something fake, but real, totally real weightlessness. And then she said, then you're going to start laughing. That's what I said. I was like, what? In fact, I'm an engineer. I raised my hand, and I was like, my mind's going, and I'm like, so is that a physiological reaction, or like, what's going on here? And she said, no. And I said, well, is everyone going to laugh? She said, yes. And I said, why? At this point, I'm kind of distracting the whole mood. The whole mood is broken, right? The Top Gun moment. And she says, you'll see, like knowingly, with a knowing smile. And I'm like, oh, great, okay, here we go. So, of course, this is in my head as fast forward to we're in the chamber and we're in the air and we're flying and I'm laying down in my jumpsuit and the countdown comes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and all you experience is lightness in your body, and all of a sudden you notice you're floating in the air, and it's an instant reaction. And as soon as that happened, and I swear to you, I burst out laughing. And as I reflect upon that, and by the way, so did everyone else, so she was right. But as I reflected upon that later, it occurred to me that that was kind of like a magical moment. It was an experience that I'd never had before. And in fact, it was an experience that's not possible on Earth. You cannot have that experience. It took man creating technology to enable that kind of an experience to even exist. And that magical moment for me, and in that case the reaction was joy, but those exist in other places too. I'm sure you can imagine some for yourselves. Astronauts talk about the magical moment, the first time they saw the Earth from space. There is a new technology, another example, there's a new technology called a cochlear implant. You've probably heard about this, cochlear implants. If you haven't seen these, go on YouTube and take a look at this. This is a technology that they've built to enable deaf people to hear. And you can watch videos of deaf people hearing for the first time they get to hear. And that's only possible because of technology. And look at the expression on their face. That is a magical moment. These magical moments are enabled by technology, and they're bringing about things and experiences to people that were never possible before. And that's what drives me. Because I work in the technology industry, what drives me is the ability to create these magical moments in the technology that I deliver, in ways both large and small, right? It doesn't mean that you have to burst out laughing every time you use a video conferencing device, but with pure joy. But it does mean in ways small and large that you're going to experience that magic that we have, that we've built into these products. And so that's been the driver behind everything you're going to hear today, is how do we create the magical user experience? So if I could move on now and talk about, this has been the vision that we've talked about. We've talked about this vision. I've been very consistent about this. At the first collaboration summit that I attended, or maybe the second, I think the message was make collaboration simple. Some of you might remember that. That was what we said. We have to make collaboration simple. And you've seen from me and my team the passion to make a magical user experience. Now, I've used other words to describe it. I've called it delightful or seamless, or you could use any number of words, but I want you to get that feeling, right, that magical moment feeling, because that's what we're trying to create from the user experience perspective. When you use these technologies, that's what we want. And finally, from a vision perspective, we want these technologies to be open. This is in the blood at Cisco. It's been the driver of this organization for many years, open systems. And we believe fundamentally that any collaboration platform that anyone would introduce should be open. And especially that couldn't be more relevant than the fact that we're here in San Francisco right now. In the heart of, arguably some of the best developers in the world are within a 7 square mile radius of this, this place right here. We want to enable all of them to build incredible and magical experiences, things that we can't even imagine on the platforms that we build. So those are the three tenets that have really been a crusade for us for 3 years since I've been here. And that's what we've been trying to deliver, simple, magical, and open. So let me contrast that now to the way that the world actually is. And this is going to look familiar to you. This is how the world is today. You've got a unified communication business that's largely putting phones on desks, connected to infrastructure. You've got a video conferencing business that came about completely separately, long after telephones came out, that delivers video conferencing in rooms. And then you've got a business that started 10 years ago, roughly, with web conferencing. And that's a totally separate business and technology stack as well. And I think you can all agree that while we at Cisco have made good improvements, and the industry in general has certainly made improvements, the experience when you use all three of these technologies together is far from magical and simple. Well, it's often far from magical and simple. I mean, would you agree with that? It's not always magical when you're using the existing technologies in this industry, not just at Cisco, but everywhere. And this is a problem for us because this was an inhibitor to us delivering simple, magical, and open. So why is it? I don't think anyone would say that it's been a lack of vision on anyone's part. We've had the vision for delivering a great user experience for a long time. So why hasn't that been possible? That's the question I want to pose to you. What's the problem? Well, the problem kind of looks like this, and I'll tell you there's more than two problems, but I'll just talk about two. The first problem is these three categories of technology and these architectures were never designed to work together in the first place. They were designed completely independently, and only later was interoperability and integration attempted between these three categories. So unified communications is a great idea, but in the hands of users, at the end user, it never really delivered on that promise. Unified communications never really delivered on the promise. And when you start with the three existing categories, the only option is to integrate things, and that just doesn't work very well. Another problem is two of these three categories were designed pre-cloud, pre-mobile. Phones and video conferencing, designed long before the cloud and long before mobile devices ever came about. So we determined that those two problems, the fact that these are three independent technology stacks, A, and B, that two of them were designed pre-cloud and pre-mobile, needed to be solved. We determined that in order to achieve our vision, we needed to completely redesign all three of these to deliver a single experience. Okay, redesign phones and calling and PBXs and video conferencing and web conferencing, not to be three integrated things, but to be one thing, one designed experience. And we also determined that to achieve that, we were going to need to do it from the cloud. So that is exactly what we've done. Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 years of incredibly hard work with some of the smartest people in the world, I'm proud to announce that we are ready to release the new Cisco Spark service. Now, the new Cisco Spark service includes all the capabilities in our portfolio, all designed in a single user experience and all delivered through the cloud. Okay? That's the new Spark service. We're really excited about it, and I want to show it to you. All right? Now, what does it mean specifically? Well, it means you can take all of our phones and connect them directly to the cloud. It means you can take all of our video conferencing devices and connect them directly to the cloud. And both of those, our telephony experiences and our video conferencing experiences, completely redesigned to deliver some magical experiences. And we do that across these three capabilities: messaging, calling, and meetings. And today we're going to take you through each of those three, and we're going to show you connecting phones and video directly to the cloud and what the experience looks like. Would you like to see that? All right, let's do it. So we're going to jump right in. Now, before I share the details, you might be thinking, isn't Spark that app that you delivered on my phone? I don't get it. Well, what we're announcing today is the platform that we built to power that experience, right? Yes, Spark is an app that runs on your phone. But when we designed the Spark application, we were simultaneously redesigning everything else in the background. But when we launched Spark, we weren't ready to launch the calling, all of the capabilities of the platform. We weren't ready to start plugging phones in. We hadn't redesigned the hardware. We hadn't redesigned the operating systems. We weren't ready for that. And it turns out redesigning everything in this industry was a tall order for the team. even with some of the smartest people in the world. And it took us some time. And we took our time to get it right. But I think you're going to agree that it was worth the wait when you see what this technology looks like. So let's start out with the first capability, and that's Spark messaging. Now, you've all seen Spark messaging, I think. Show of hands, who has Spark? Good, awesome, most of you. If you don't have it, please go download it from the App Store, especially people on the phone. Well, so what is Spark, the app? Today, Spark, the app, is a business messaging tool. And business messaging is a category that many of the folks in the analyst community have written about, and many folks are now looking at. It's really a new category of communication tool that's transforming the collaboration landscape. Lots of new companies offering business messaging tools. We've seen in our customers that usage of Spark will reduce an individual's email by up to 50%. In my case, it was 80%. Reduces the number of meetings that you have to have, on average, by 25%. And Spark is connecting teams in new ways that they never thought were possible. And it's making work and communication, like staying in touch with your team, it's making it pleasant and fun, actually, again, which we're really excited about, as opposed to the kind of hellhole of email that everyone has been in for a long time. So we're really excited about Spark. And if you hadn't noticed over the last year, Spark is different than other enterprise software. It's got a complete integration pipeline, a continuous integration pipeline, which means that we can deliver new features on a continuous basis. And in fact, over the last year, we've been doing just that. So we don't have a big announcement of 50 new things that we're going to ship this year. In fact, we've been shipping these all along for the last year. And we've been watching how people use them, and we've been improving them. So in fact, just in the last year, we have shipped 40 major new features into the Spark application, okay? So if you saw it 6 months ago, there's a whole bunch of new stuff that you really should go take a look at. So I wanted to just start out by, I can't cover all 40, obviously, but you can go take a look at the hosts. Let's just start out by doing a quick demo, and I'll show you a few of the latest features that we've launched. How does that sound? Sound good? We're going to get my screen up here, and I'm going to pair it. There we go. So it should be on the AirPlay. See it behind me? There it is. Okay. So I'm going to show you a couple of features that we have, and then if you like those, maybe I'll show you one that's coming soon. Does that sound good? You want to see something coming soon? It's not available yet? Okay. Me too. So here you can see the Spark that you are all familiar with. You can see my room list. And one of the problems, and frankly, big areas of customer feedback is as they're reducing the amount of email that they use and they increase their usage of Spark, they want to have more and more capabilities to make it easier to find things in Spark. So we've added this really cool feature. You can see it here. If I swipe over from the left side of the screen, you'll watch as I do that, magically from the background appears this Filters tab. So we've added all these really cool filters so that you can just jump right to, say, your unread rooms. You can swipe over, just see your favorite rooms. There's my favorites, okay? And we have a brand new feature that we're launching called the important filter. So you can see that important. If I tap on that, it uses some intelligence in the background to figure out which are the rooms you really need to care about, okay? So that's the new filtering capability. And we've also added a capability called @mentions. You can see it right here if I tap on that. And what that does is we have a system of smart notifications in Spark. That means when you now get added to a large room, if there's a lot of chatter in that room, unlike an email where you're going to get a copy of you know, the reply all, the reply all, the reply all, the reply all. You've all experienced that. In Spark, you won't get any notifications at all until your name is mentioned. And then when your name is mentioned specifically, it'll pop right up on your phone, on your desktop, or wherever you are. And then here you can actually see that. I've just swiped over and I select @mentions, and you can see every single room where I have been mentioned, my name specifically. So there's Yen's blog series, Rowan, your latest blog is great, blah, 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 blah. And I can tap on that. Looks like Will is asking me for a donation. Have you seen this yet? Awesome proposal. Okay, so that is the new @mentions and the new filters capability. We went one step further. Another part of this request to make my stuff easier to find was I want to be able to search for anything. But we had a problem. And the problem was that we have a fully secured, encrypted, end-to-end business messaging tool. We've been, you know, I came from 20 years in the security industry. We have gone to great lengths to make this, you know, the most secure business messaging app out there. And doing search is very hard, because how do you do search if everything's encrypted? It's kind of a hard problem. So we hired some of the best experts in the world. Turns out a technology to do this does not exist. So think about Spark. Your messages here are encrypted. Everything is encrypted when it goes on the wire. Cisco doesn't see anything unencrypted. Yet now what you want to do is you want to type in a search term. You know, we're going to type in proposal, let's say, for example. And that message may not be on this device. Maybe it's in the cloud, but the cloud is encrypted. How do you do the search? So we've invented a brand new technology to do fully encrypted search, which means Cisco never sees your data. So all I have to do, and it's very, very fast, you can see right there, I just type in proposal, and it's popping up the messages where the word proposal is typed in, even though those are fully encrypted. And there you can see earlier in the day, Rowan proposed, there it is, okay? Fully encrypted search, fully in the cloud, and it's lightning fast. So we're really, really excited about these two new features because they make Spark way more useful, and as you get more and more traffic in Spark, it just becomes that much more capable. So those are the first two. Now, would you like to see one that's not quite ready yet, but will be soon? A preview, if you will? Yes, okay, let me give a preview of the next thing. So back to this theme of more and more people using Spark. One of the challenges we wanted to solve is when you first get, and maybe for those of you who were added to Spark, you might have experienced this. When you first get added to Spark, you kind of show up to an empty room list, or maybe one conversation. You're kind of like, okay, that's great, but I know all these people in my team are using Spark, but where's all of the content? How do I get access to that? Well, prior to today, the only answer to that was somebody had to add you to the room. They had to go to a room and specifically add you, and then you would get access to those rooms. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to make that content discoverable. We wanted to make it possible for teams to organize their content around a group, a specific list of team members, and then make a list of rooms that are specifically for that team that you can participate in and discover. So we've done just that. If you see on the bottom of the screen here, we've got the recents list, and we also have teams. So I'm going to tap on teams, and here you can see some of the teams that are available to me that I've been added to, okay? And these they can be automatically configured to come through Active Directory groups. So when a new employee joins, they can be automatically added in to a variety of teams. And what they can then do with that is they can tap on this. So I'm a member of the customer support, well, let's pick another one, leadership team. This is my leadership team. Clearly I'm a member of my leadership team. I'm going to tap on that. And so you can see that my leadership team, so this is all the people that report to me, and they can create rooms in the leadership team, and then I have the option to go and join those rooms. So here you can see at the bottom 2 other rooms, Idea Bin and Quarterly Updates. So if I want to just join one, I can just tap on join, and I will be automatically part of that conversation going forward. And then I can leave the room, and it moves back here. So I never lose the room, okay? You can see that I can create a room for this team. So if I want to create a new topic or a new conversation topic, I can create that channel, that room, right in this team, and it'll show up. So I can do that here. You can see I can name it. I won't go through all the details. I can also add and remove team members. So as Rowan, I'm the owner of the Rowan Leadership Team group, and so you can see that I'm the moderator. Now I can ask other people to be moderator. You know, I can actually make other people in the leadership team moderators as well, so they can add and remove members. But for this team, I'm the moderator. I'm the only one that can add and remove people. So when new people come along, I just tap on Add Team Member, goes right to Active Directory, and I can add them into this team. So this is the all-new Teams feature. It's going to be coming soon to a phone near you. We're really, really excited about that, about search, fully encrypted search that we've just recently launched, and about all the other 40 features. So again, if you haven't looked at Spark recently, go take another look. Please install it and start using it with your team. So that's the all-new Spark messaging. You can applause. You can clap whenever you want. It says applause. Get applause. Okay. So that's Spark. Now, today we're announcing 2 brand new capabilities. This is what we've had with updates, and obviously it's been changing a lot. But today we're announcing 2 brand new capabilities. The first brand new capability that we are announcing is Spark Calling. So let me go ahead and talk to you about Spark Calling. So what is Spark Calling? Spark Calling is a full business class telephony solution in the cloud. And that's everything that you would expect in a business class telephony solution from Cisco. But it's hosted in the cloud. So it's available to companies of all sizes. And just like a cloud offer, it will scale from the smallest companies to the largest. The setup for this technology is the easiest thing you've ever seen. We're going to show you that. And we've redesigned the experience on the telephone to be a completely seamless experience with the rest of the portfolio, Spark and everything else, and you're going to see that. So as a result, we can show you how a phone becomes more than just a phone. So specifically, again, what this means is you can take our award-winning lineup of phones, 6 models initially, which are going to be upgraded and powered by a brand new Spark phone operating system, which we'll talk about, and those can connect directly to the Spark service, okay? Very simple, very easy. So I would love to show that to you. So to help me demonstrate and show this capability, please help me welcome Senior Vice President and General Manager of our cloud collaboration business, Jens Meggers. Jens, come on up, bud. Hey, how are you? So I think that we should set up Spark calling for the audience. We should do it right here on stage, but we should not have any experts. It should just be me and you, and we should have 0 IT support. And so I want to actually do it ourselves. I want you to do the steps. I want me to do the steps. And to do that, what we've arranged is we've arranged a desk on the left for Jens and a desk on the right for me. So let's go to our respective desks. And what you in the audience are going to see that on the cameras here is what's on these desks is a brand new Cisco 8865 IP phone. Very hot, very cool, brand new phone, doing well. And it's brand new out of the box. It hasn't been configured at all. But this is unlike any 8865 that you've ever seen, because this 8865 is running the brand new Spark Phone OS. And we're going to talk to you about the capabilities of Spark Phone OS, but the first capability is the phone should be able to register directly to our cloud. So Jens, let's go ahead and show them how that works.
Okay, let's do it. Look, most importantly, I want to just say that these phones are connected straight to the public internet. Okay, so there is absolutely no infrastructure. There is no B6K here behind that curtain. There is no expressway over there. Nothing. Absolutely no infrastructure. Okay, so let's set up these desk phones. In order to do this, we're going to our management console, which is the Spark Cloud Management Portal. We're very proud of it. It's really a system that makes it incredibly easy to manage this cloud offering. Okay? We spent a lot of time on it, and the team has worked really, really hard. And what it does, it really combines messaging, meetings, and calling in one administration experience. So for Rowan and our 2 desk phones that we want to set up here, obviously these are personal devices, right? They will be later on attached to us as a person because it has a phone number. And therefore, I'm just going to go here in the user list, and I'm going to find Rowan. Let's see if he's in there. There he is. And all I have to do is just go and activate his new cloud-connected desk phone, and it will create an activation code. I'm going to email it to him. Okay? Email to him. There he is, Rowan's email address, and send it out. And I'm going to do the same thing for me, Rowan. So then, when we have these activation codes in our email, we're just going to go and activate the phone.
Okay, and I've just gotten mine, so it came through. There it is, 9:46 a.m. from the Cisco Spark team. Activate my device. So I open it up, and I see a QR code. So what do I do with the QR code, Jens?
So basically, because we got our really great 8865 phones, and they have cameras, they have really smart phones. So all I have to do is just show your code to the camera.
All right. So I'm just going to put it here, and when I do this, what I should see is, if everything works, Jens, this thing should register to the cloud and become my phone. It should say my name right here, right? I mean, it should say like Rowan Trollope and an extension number. Is that right?
Good one.
All right, so audience, let's make sure that works. I have to hold my engineering team feet to the fire. Whoa, look at that. There it is, Rowan Trollope. Well done. Okay. Well, that's awesome, but I think we have to make a phone call. So we could call any telephone number at this point. Obviously, we have PSTN connectivity, but let me go ahead and show by connecting to you. So I'm going to call you, and when I call you, again, we should just be bouncing off the cloud and going over to your phone. These are just on the public internet. Your phone should ring. So what's your extension?
My extension is, let me see, 5800.
Okay, so I'm just going to call you, 5800. And if this works.
It's ringing. Nice.
All right. See what happens.
Hello.
Hey, Jens. Well,
how's it going?
Good.
See you.
Hey. That's incredible quality, first of all. HD quality voice and video directly, yes, you can clap, directly connected to the cloud.
Good stuff.
So what did we just do? We just set up 2 brand new phones out of the box in minutes and connected them to the cloud and had a full HD voice and video call. Very, very exciting. But we talked to you earlier about how a phone could be more than a phone and how we're going to redesign this entire experience. So I want to call your attention now to the screens in the middle. And those are actually our laptops, which are also sitting on the desk. And what's on my screen on your right is my Spark room. You just saw that on my mobile phone. It's the same thing, but just in the web browser. And then you can see on the left-hand side, Jens's Spark room. And what you see, though, that's new, on the right-hand side, see this Jens Megers on my screen and the 104? That's the current time of the current call from the voice over IP phone. So they're totally natively designed into a single experience. And Jens has the same thing on his side. So we thought we could do some really awesome things with that. For example, one common problem that people have is, I would love to share my screen with Jens. I'm talking to him on the phone, and I'd say, Jens, I want to share my screen with you, but how am I going to do that? We have to go do some other steps to get the whole thing set up. So one way of doing that now in the brand new Spark is I just go here and tap on Share Screen. So with one button, if this works, my screen's going to appear on Jens's screen. And I've got this PowerPoint that I want to share with Jens. So let's go ahead and try it. Let's see if I can get my screen to show up on Jens's screen. And if it works, it's thinking about it. Yes. Think a little harder, computer. Wait. Oh, that's what I want to share with Jens. Let me put that down. OK. Hold on. Wait for it. What? Is there a dialogue that I'm supposed to be? No, 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 no. Jens, you want to try it with me? One more time.
It was right there.
Is it working? Not quite. PowerPoint. No, it's not working. Jens, you try sharing with me. Oh, well, anyways.
Okay.
It should be working. It did work. Oh, I didn't see it. OK, fine. So it worked. OK, you're off the hook. Well done. So one button to screen share directly from the call. And all we have to do to tear that down, by the way, is hang up the phone. So we don't have to end something here. As soon as I hang this up, these guys should just recognize that the call is over and everything disappears. And there you go. We've ended the call. We've also ended the screen share. And you can see on the screen, please rate the call. How do you think what do you think about the quality of that? 5 stars, 4 stars? What do you think, Jens?
5 stars.
Click on 5. I'm going to give it 4 because I'm just critical. Just kidding. All right. So that's the cloud phone. Jens?
So look, obviously all of this is happening in the cloud, right? The cloud simplifies everything we're doing, and it connects everything seamlessly in the cloud. And when I basically call Rowan from any one of these experiences, what's really great about it is notifies all of his Spark apps, and it even makes his phone ring. This is how tightly the phone is now connected in the cloud experience. And it basically allows me to find him anywhere I want, regardless where he's currently hiding. So it's very, very convenient. And look,
like on a stage.
This is not single number reach, right? And we know everybody's always talking about single number reach. Everybody wants to have this, but nobody sets it up because it's really, really complicated to do with just the phone systems. The cloud makes single number reach very, very easy and really makes it available to everyone. So I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to go ahead and give Rowan a call on his.
So you're calling me from your mobile phone, not your desk phone this time?
Yes, I'm going to just go take the iPhone, and I'm just going to go in the Spark app and give Rowan a call in the Spark app.
Okay.
Okay, let me go real quick to this. The app wasn't up. Let's go open it. There it is. Can we see my Spark app? Oh, there it is.
Yep, there it is.
Okay. So I'm just going to call Rowan in the Spark app. Let's see what happens.
We should get a ring here. We should get a ring there. There it is. There it is. So ringing everywhere, and I can answer it anywhere. So there it is there. I can answer, and I get my full video from the mobile. Everything worked? And you got a join button?
Yep.
There it is. Awesome. It worked. And we didn't even pray to the demo gods today, so that, okay. So that's Spark calling. Thanks, Jens, for helping with that demo. Now, I want to quickly move on to the next capability, because we got a lot to do today. And I want to talk to you about Spark meetings. But just to recap on Spark calling. Fully delivered from the cloud. HD voice and video, instant setup, 6 phone models going to be upgraded with the new Spark Phone OS. And it's a single experience, so it's more than just a phone. You see that it ties into the overall experience just like we want. Now, one of the benefits, of course, just to reiterate, of Spark Phone OS is that phone is always going to be up to date. We will make sure and we will guarantee that the phone operating system works with the cloud, and we can tightly control that experience for all of our users, make sure they always have a fabulous experience. And just like your Tesla or your iPhone, we can deliver brand new features to this phone on an ongoing basis because we're powering it from the cloud. So there's more to come on that. So that's Spark Calling. We're very, very excited about releasing that. And the next capability is Spark Meetings. So let's now talk about Spark Meetings. So what is Spark Meetings? Well, Spark Meetings is enterprise-class video conferencing delivered from the cloud, hosted by Cisco. What does that really mean? Well, it means that you will be able to take any of our video conferencing devices, our award-winning Red Dot, SX and MX series products, and upgrade them to the new operating system and connect them to the cloud directly. And that's powered by an all-new operating system on the endpoints that we've been working on for some time called the Spark Room OS, so very analogous to the Spark Phone OS. And the setup, as of course you would expect, is easier than you've ever seen. Now, this is important to us because, as you know, we've been on this crusade to deliver more video pervasively into every single room. And in order to do that, we needed to reduce the complexity and the cost. Delivering all of this through a cloud solution helps us get there. So we're really excited about what's possible with this brand new offering, Spark Meetings. So I think that we should go ahead and show what this looks like to the audience. So let's go ahead and launch into a demo. So also on stage, you can see, we'll go back over to the side here, Jens has a conference room that's been set up with an SX10, and I have a similar conference room. The setup process was the same as we did for the phone, but we're going to skip over that. And in order to make let's first start out by doing an ad hoc meeting. We've been seeing the rise of ad hoc meetings where you don't schedule it, you just, hey, let's get everyone into a room. And that's really becoming a big thing. So I think the first thing we should demonstrate is let's just set up an ad hoc meeting between, and I want to use my conference room for this ad hoc meeting. So how would we do that, Jens? I think probably you would just go ahead and call me, right?
I'm just going to use my desk phone. Since we just registered it to the cloud, it's ready to go. So it's going to dial your extension.
Okay. Now, Jens is going to call my extension, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk over here to the conference room. And as I do that, what you're going to see is that the conference room automatically recognizes that I'm in the room. In fact, I'm going to not answer this just yet. The conference room will automatically recognize that I'm in this room. Okay, so it uses our proximity technology to detect that I'm in the room. And there you can see it's detected that I'm physically here. So that just means that I'm here standing in front of the unit. We didn't pair it. We didn't do anything else. Now, what I can do is I can join the call. Jens is still calling me. And you can see I can tap on one button. And actually, hold on. Jens, give me another call, will you?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. There we go. Do we have mine on the screen? There we go. All right, so Jens is going to hang up. Go ahead and call me. And you'll see now this time what happens, because I'm in the room, you're going to see on the screen, I have the additional option to answer with Rowan's conference room. So I'm going to tap that. And what you should see is Jens should appear right here. And all I did is tap here. Connecting call to Jens Megers. So there we go. It's connecting. And then you can see Jens here. So it's almost there. And it's there.
It is.
OK. And look at that quality. Stunning quality. Now that's Jens calling me from his desk phone. He dialed 5800. But I answered it via my mobile in a conference room. What's going on? This is a magical experience. It's all seamlessly working together.
That's right, Rowan, and we want to make it even a little bit more challenging here.
Okay, yeah. If this wasn't challenging enough.
What happens to me all the time that I run A, late to meetings, and B, I pick it up in the wrong room or the wrong place. So in this case, I picked up this meeting with Rowan here on my desk phone, but actually, obviously, normally, more people arrive and we have to find a conference room and things like that, okay? So for this, what you can do, because of these incredible cloud experiences, I can now go and transfer, actually move, the meeting from my desk phone over here to my iPhone. Okay, let's do this. Clicking a button. You see, now I'm transferring it from the desk to the iPhone. And then I should have Rowan's picture here on my iPhone. There it is. So you guys see me here. Now I'm walking. I'm running to the conference room. I'm running late. I'm late. And Good news, we're pretty close here to the SX10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, obviously, arrive at the meeting room, and I will find the SX10. There it is. So it found me. Obviously, we're using our high-tech proximity detection. There is no Bluetooth. There is no Wi-Fi. This is a straight cloud technology with some secret sauce that we're doing with ultrasound to create a token to connect these two devices together. Okay. So now what I can do is can you see it on my iPhone? I can just drag it over and drop it, and now the call is moving over here to my SX10.
Wow,
seamless.
Amazing. Incredible.
Yes. So now this is all over the cloud, okay? And there is absolutely no configuration needed, and it is secure.
Awesome. So that was an ad hoc meeting, started on a phone and answered on a room system, and then moved from a desk phone to an iPhone and then over to a room system. And we can do that all day long in all kinds of different configurations. But I think the next thing that we should show, in fact, I'm going to hang up this call here. We should show Jens a scheduled meeting, because most meetings are still scheduled. And so let's go ahead and show the audience what a scheduled meeting looks like with the Spark Meetings service.
Exactly. Most meetings are obviously scheduled, and we know we run through a day with our schedule. And wasn't it great when meetings were easy to join back in the days? Everybody always complains it takes too long. Meetings are starting 7 minutes late because it's too difficult to join. And our best experience that we create at Cisco is really what we call the one button to push, right? Who knows one button to push? It's great, right? You walk in the room, you got your beautiful Cisco touch panel, there's a big green button, and you just press it, and it magically joins, and this is the most delightful experience. Now, there are problems with this. Number one is sometimes it's not configured for the right meeting room, right? Or sometimes there is on-prem infrastructure, the infrastructure didn't catch the right meeting, and the button doesn't. It's very frustrating. So there are a lot of companies out there, they have another guy who just runs through all of the meeting rooms just to find out that that meeting is configured properly, okay? So what we have done is with Cisco Spark, we have brought this to a whole new level. Because what we have done is we have taken the one button to push button and moved it into the cloud, okay? And because it's now in the cloud, it's available on all of our Spark apps. And I'm going to show this to you right now. Conveniently, I've set up a meeting with my engineering team right now because they want to know if the demo worked or not. And what we have here in the new Spark app is obviously we have meetings capability. If you see on the bottom right, there's a meetings button. So I'm just going to click that. And there's the meeting with my engineering team. So all I have to do now, since I'm in my meeting room, I'm just going to push one button, and it will magically create the meeting on my room system right here.
So joining a scheduled meeting right from your phone.
There it is. Hopefully we're going to see my engineering team in a second. There it is. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
How are you guys?
Hey, guys.
Thank you for joining this scheduled meeting. Great and good job on the technology. It worked really, really well today. So thanks, everyone. Great job.
How did it go, guys? Did it go good? Can you give them some feedback? Well done. Well done.
Okay, thanks, guys. I'm going to hang up now. Thank you very much.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Well done. Jens, awesome work, and awesome work to the whole engineering team.
Yep.
Making all that happen was incredibly difficult, but super cool. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you. So that is Spark Meetings and just a taste of what we can do now that we have enterprise-class video conferencing in the cloud. All of our award-winning endpoints. Now, we're going to start with the SX10. Over the balance of the year, we will roll the new Spark Room OS into the MX series as well. One button to join goes everywhere. That's a feature that people love, and it really transforms the way that you have meetings. The ultrasonic automatic pairing gives you that magical experience. How did the room even know that I was here? You didn't even have to pair your device. Seamlessly moving meetings from device to device, room to room, really transforms something that's been very, very painful for people for a long time into something that we think is going to be really, really magical. And of course, because it's powered by this brand new operating system, Spark Room OS, you're going to see new capabilities delivered from the cloud to your endpoint over time by Cisco. So very, very excited about Spark Meetings. So that's the complete service. We rounded out the complete service with its 3 capabilities. Now there's 2 other major announcements that we want to make today, and they're very, very important to the overall vision. The first is we want to deliver these magical experiences that you've seen today for our existing customers. So what about our existing customers who already have UC systems installed and video conferencing systems installed? What do we do for them? Well, we have a great answer to that. And second, at the beginning of this, I talked to you about open. Well, we just showed you an incredible and very, very powerful platform. And it is our intention, and in fact, we're going to announce this today, to make that platform completely open. And so to share with you how we're going to do both of those things, make the technology available for existing customers, and how we're going to make it open, I would love to introduce onto the stage my Chief Technology Officer and Vice President, Jonathan Rosenberg. Jonathan, come on stage.
Thank you, Rowan. That was awesome. Totally awesome. Moving calls from phones to mobile apps to video systems, calls, meetings, it's all the same thing. And I hope you like what you heard. Now, many of you sitting in the room, our enterprise customers and our partners, probably have lots of questions. One of the things you're thinking about is, I really like that experience, but as Rowan just said, Rowan, I'm not greenfield. I've got Cisco UC. I mean, you've been selling it to me for years, right? I mean, how does that work with this? How does it tie in? And the answer for us is Cisco Spark Hybrid Services. So before I go on to talk about what the announcement is about today, let's spend a minute on talking about what do we mean when we say hybrid services. And typically in the industry, hybrid services, well, it has lots of meanings. But what some folks sort of describe it as that we've got a product and it's got like 5 things and you can get it either on the prem or in the cloud and you can sort of do a mix and match. And it's the same thing, just a different delivery model. You can either buy it perpetual or cloud licensed. And that's fine. But for us, we think it needs to be more than that. Because we think that cloud, for example, has some really unique properties that go away when you put it on-prem. What is cloud great at? Well, cloud is amazing at this continuous delivery and continuous integration pipeline, putting new updates into the hands of end users on an almost daily or weekly basis. And that's really only possible with cloud software. And cloud is also really good at mobility and web. Like cloud and mobile and cloud and WebRTC, these things go together naturally so that the cloud and the software can keep up with the pace of innovation that we see in mobile and web technologies. And so we want to keep those capabilities. But at the same time, we know that premise has unique benefits, right? It's got great audio and video quality. I mean, when you install our UC infrastructure on your premise or it's partner delivered via HCS, you get rock solid, highly reliable quality calling, and you need that. And of course, you also get the benefits of using the stuff you've already got and all the integrations that UC has with premise infrastructure. So as we started to think about hybrid services, we knew we needed to go past the A or B, and we needed to do the combination of the two. And the true value is combining these things together to get built software meant for the cloud, in the cloud, and then combine that with software on-prem with stuff meant to run on-prem, and make possible things that only can be done when you actually combine those together. For us, that's what hybrid services is about. And so I'm pleased to announce today that we are now introducing 3 new Cisco Spark hybrid services, formerly known as Fusion. Marketing guy said I can say that word one more time, and now I have to say hybrid services. I may still use the word Fusion in other meetings. But anyway, so in addition to the directory service that we already actually launched last year and is in production today, 3 new ones: Calendar Service, Call Service Connect, and Call Service Aware. So let me take you through these one at a time, and of course we're going to start with Calendar Service. So let me set it up for you. What's the problem that we're trying to solve? There's 2 big problems. Problem number 1 is that scheduling meetings is still a chore, like just actually executing it. You know, typically us and almost everyone else in the business have these plugins that plug into Outlook, and they don't always work, and you have to install them, and they're not the same on all platforms. And then, of course, none of that at all works on this, because there are no plugins into the iOS calendar application, so no one schedules meetings for mobile phones. And then there are some new things, like Microsoft added this new like Exchange 2013 Outlook add-ins, but it doesn't actually work on Mac. And I mean, so it's all these other things that make it clunky. But besides the logistics of using the technology, we see a productivity problem. And you've all probably experienced this. You have this long email thread, and you're going back and forth, and someone says, guys, I can't even understand this anymore. We need to go schedule a meeting. Has anyone ever had this happen to you? Like, raise your hand. I can see you. None of you guys? I'm serious. Raise your hand. Did anyone ever have this problem? Thank you. Come on. It's interactive here. And so at that point, what usually happens is the conversation stops. And you usually schedule the meeting because the thread got too long to follow. And then by the time your calendars align, it's like a week later, and you've basically made no more progress on the open issue. That, my friends, that's the real problem. So we wanted to solve both of these problems and transform the way you think about scheduling meetings. Would you like to see it? Yeah. So our solution is the brand new Cisco Spark calendar service, hybrid services. So I am going to go, and I'm going to connect my iPhone to the AirPlay. Okay, so just give me a second to get that up there. Done. And hopefully now we'll get my phone on the AirPlay. Which it somehow did not. No, it says it is. It's on the right Wi-Fi. See, this isn't even our stuff. This is just, it says Rowan's iPhone. It's just not showing up on the AirPlay. Mirroring. Ah, I should turn on the mirroring button. All right, try it again. That looks better. All right. User error. I didn't press the mirroring button. It's not our stuff. Our stuff works great. All right, so we'll see. I'll let you be the judge of that. So here's the use case. So I'm working on slides. I got a lot of slides I'm doing at this event, and I need some changes to my deck for the partners a little bit later today. And I need to have a meeting. So I'm going to do something you've probably never seen before. I'm going to schedule a meeting with my team right here on my iPhone. So this is partner deck. And what I'm going to do something magical here. In the location field, I'm just going to put @WebEx @Spark. That's it. Done. And I'm going to invite some folks who I need for this meeting. So I need Aisha Jacobs, and I need Diane. She's right there. And Will Sinks, who gets it all done. Let's see if he shows up. Will Sinks. There he is. Great. Done. And that's probably good for this meeting. The time, 10 p.m. is pretty good, right? We work hard for our customers. So there you go. I've scheduled the meeting. Now, the problem I have is I really don't want to wait till 10 p.m. I actually would like to make progress. So I'm going to come over to here. And this is my computer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the conversation with my team right now. And so I'm going to switch to Cisco Spark. Now, holy cow, look at this. This is my Cisco Spark. And there's this new room called Partner Deck. It's the same as the subject of the meeting. Our cloud automatically created a Spark room to get the conversation going. It invited all the people that I put in that Outlook invite into this meeting. It put this awesomely beautiful tab here in the room, letting us know when the meeting is, 10 p.m. bright and early. But more importantly, you can see that the conversation can start now. Hi, guys. Need some edits. Well, Will, come on. We all were, okay, we should have version 4 soon. So these guys, so here the work is actually starting in this awesome room thing. Now, the challenge is when the meeting time comes, how's everyone going to join the meeting? You should notice I didn't actually put any join links. No, we can't have it at 8 p.m., Diane. I didn't actually put any join links in the calendar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to my Outlook web application here. And here's that meeting I just scheduled. Open it up, and you'll see right here, my meeting join information was automatically added to the calendar invite by the cloud. Is that awesome or what? Yeah! That was super cool. So how did that happen, actually? How did that work? So the magic of it works here. So Expressway is becoming our supercharged cloud connector in this architecture. And what happens is the Express is a product we have today. It's part of our premise UC portfolio, and today it's used for B2B video calling and Jabber remote access. Now, in the years of work we've been working on this, it's getting upgraded now to be a hosting platform for connectors. These connectors are pieces of software that are downloaded by the cloud, and the config for this is awesome. We've spent so much time. The team's done a great job making this easy. You go to Expressway config page, it shows you the connectors, you click download and install, and that's it. And it downloads it from the cloud and installs it, lets you know when there's an upgrade, one click to upgrade. And you don't even have to upgrade the rest of Expressway. So it's this new awesome container framework that's sort of separate from Expressway. But because it is premise software and it's running on-prem, we just made it easy to upgrade. All the configuration data, the provisioning data is stored on-prem. It's not stored in the cloud. In this particular use case, that calendar connector talks to Exchange using EWS, Exchange Web Services. To do that, it needs credentials for accessing Exchange. Your Exchange credentials. We didn't want them in the cloud, and you don't want them in the cloud either. Those credentials stay on-prem. They don't go to the cloud. They're not seen by the cloud. They don't transit through the cloud. The cloud doesn't know them. The cloud doesn't want them. They stay on-prem. So you get the security benefits of classic premise software. Now, that calendar connector listens to Exchange for provision users, and when it sees, in this case, a meeting added, it looks for @Spark, @WebEx, and it goes to the cloud and it does cool stuff. In this case, it automatically makes a room, it adds the people to the room, it creates the calendar invite, it sticks it in. It actually then goes and literally updates my calendar invite and includes my join meeting information, of course, using my WebEx CMR. All of that automatically. So that is the architecture for Cisco hybrid calendar services, and we're really excited about it. So that's number one. Let me move on to the next of the hybrid services we're announcing, which is Call Service Connect. So let's talk about that one. What's the problem here? Well, regular Spark, up before today, had this awesome experience. Right? You had web clients that were doing WebRTC and pure HTML5. You had this awesome mobile app, and it had really good calling and meeting features, right? But the problem with those calling and meeting features is, to be honest, folks, up till today, they're kind of an island if you already have Cisco UC. Right? What do I mean by that? So if someone else in my company isn't, for some reason, a Spark user, and let's assume that not everyone is a Spark user in this company day one. I'm a user, but other people in my company aren't. And one of them wants to call me, like, they have to know which client I'm on. If they would have to go use Spark to call me on Spark, but if they're not Spark and they're Jabber or desk phone users, they call me and that doesn't ring Spark, it rings my Jabber or my desk phone. So I still have to have those other things to answer those calls. And the same way, if I want to call someone else and I'm a Spark user, I have to know, are they on Spark, or are they using Jabber, or they just have a desk phone, and I have to pick the right set of tools. So to be totally honest, folks, for all of our customers that have Cisco UC, before today, this made Spark sort of good for messaging, and its real-time stuff was kind of more of a curiosity, right? Just being honest. So that is a huge, huge problem. Huge problem. Spark was an island. The second problem, frankly, was that, as Rowan talked about, enterprise UC has been around for a long time, and a lot of the technology was built in the days before mobile and before web. And that means that technology wasn't built from ground up to do a lot of the things you want in a mobile and web world. You want things like handoffs, and you want support for WebRTC, and you want to do background notification pushes, and you want rapid updates of state on mobile clients, and all this awesome stuff that cloud is good at, that's typically, and moves really fast, that's difficult to put in an enterprise UC system. So that's the second challenge. So the question we asked ourselves is, could we fix these things by bringing it together? And of course, the answer is yes. So what Call Service Connect does is it literally plugs the Cisco Spark Cloud into your enterprise UC to make it for the end user work like you totally expect it should. So if the person on the left here, if Alice calls or Jane, sorry, I didn't look at the picture closely. Alex calls Jane. Could be Bob, I don't know. Open-minded here. So if Alice calls Jane, Alice can place a call from Jabber. And if Alice places a call from Jabber, guess what happens for Jane? It rings her Jabber, it rings her Spark, it rings her desk phone. Exactly like you expect. If Alice uses Spark to place the call, what does it ring? Well, it rings Jane's Jabber, it rings her Spark, it rings her desk phone. So these are no longer separate, but literally, my Cisco Spark is connected to my enterprise UC. And of course, from my Cisco Spark, I can do things like call PSTN numbers. And guess where that what infrastructure supports that? Our premise UC. And by the way, it just saved me lots of wasted breaths. When I say the words premise UC, please translate it to the following. Any of our award-winning UC products, including the BE6K, BE7K, BE6KS, HCS in the cloud offered by our awesome partners, including our premise products, UC Manager and HCS LE, thank you very much for buying. Woo! All right. I just, even though the marketing guys want me to say that over and over, I'm just going to say Prem UC for short, okay? All right. So if I place an outbound call to the PSTN from Cisco Spark, which I can now do, because as you heard from Rowan, Cisco Spark supports real calling, it's actually placing that call through that enterprise premise UC system. So all the stuff, and I can do extension dialing from the dial pad in the Cisco Spark application. And of course, it works with my extension dial plan. So all that is in there, and it makes this whole experience you just saw work for our existing install base, all our partners and customers. And that is awesome. And we're super excited about that. How does it work? And I'm going to show you a demo in just a moment. It works kind of like you'd expect. We've got our UC Manager or any of its many variants using Expressway, and it basically connects SIP to the Cisco Spark Cloud. Now, the way this works is really interesting. We used a whole bunch of the really awesome features on our UC product portfolio. And the way to think about it, I'm going to get just a little technical. If you're familiar with how our UC works, it's got this construct of lines, and you can connect devices to a line. And a device would be your phone or Jabber. The entirety of the Spark Cloud connects to our UC as another device on your line. So when someone calls me on my UC, it rings my UC phone connected to UCM on the bottom. It rings my Jabber. And then it sends the call to the cloud. And then Spark, the cloud, rings all of my Spark devices. And that's how you saw the kind of experiences that Rowan shared with you can work with your existing UC. So, and the same way for outbound calls. If I place a call from Spark, it gets routed through UC Manager. It shows up on my line. So it's literally as if I picked up my desk phone. The entire cloud is acting like my desk phone. Totally awesome. Teams have been working on this for years to make this technology work, and finally we're ready to unveil it. So that's really cool. I'm going to show you a demo in a moment, but I want to get to the other piece of the call service stuff, which is call service aware. So that's the third hybrid service that we're going to share with you today. So what is the problem statement here? Well, frankly, it's the one Rowan already talked about, right? Today, UC is really cool. It does phones and video calling, and then there's this separate video conferencing thing, and then there's web conferencing, and then there's messaging, and they're kind of like islands that we've been integrating and stitching together, but it hasn't really knocked it out of the park. We're totally new experiences. So the challenge is can we deliver this totally new experience that Rowan just shared with you, but make it work with your existing UC infrastructure? Does anyone want to guess what the answer to that is? The answer is yes. That can work. We can make that work. And it was a real big challenge, but we did it. And what does it mean to be concrete? It means, for example, that ZTM demo, or zero-touch meetings, where Rowan picked up his phone, he placed a call, and it was answered by Jens, and then their Spark application showed the call, and they could share their screen with one click. That exact same thing works even when the UC is delivered on-prem by adding Spark through Call Service Aware. And that, interestingly, is just one feature. Just one. Another example of one is unlocking other value. For example, your call history in your mobile or desk phone. So let's talk about that for a second. I mean, most of us who make calls on our iPhones or on our desk phones, we use the recent call list as the way we get back to people. Someone called me, I go find them, I call them back. However, that data, that recents list is so useful, it's locked in your desk phone and often locked in your iPhone. And so what we want to do with Call Service Aware is unlock that data. So that list, that call history, gets popped into the cloud. And once it's in the Cisco Spark Cloud, it becomes available on all my other devices to make it super easy for me to call back people. And not just call them back, supercharge my call history list with the power of the rest of Spark. So, anyone want to see a demo? Yeah, of course you want to see a demo. So, to help me do this demo, I am going to bring to the stage one of my favorite demo partners, Louis Pratt. Please welcome Louis Pratt to the stage. Thank you, Louis, for coming.
Sure.
So, Louis, you work for Cisco, is that right?
I do.
And what group are you from?
I am in the finance department.
Now, we love our friends in finance. And just to make sure we're all on the same page, what's going on, are you currently an active Spark user inside of Cisco?
I have no idea what Spark is.
OK, we'll fix that for you. But I appreciate your help with the demo. Why don't we step over here? Now, while I've been talking, our awesome demo team has gone and swapped out Rowan and Jens's phones running Cisco Spark OS and replaced them with a regular enterprise desk phone. It's the same physical phone in this case. It's an 8865. But it's connected to actual CTD, Cisco's and UC Manager. Literally, this is your extension at work, right? 919, that number is your number, right? So, and this is the same phone model you have at the office,
Absolutely.
Right? So this is literally Louis's enterprise prem UC phone. There is, in fact, a UC Manager on the other end of this in San Jose, okay? So that's your phone. And I'm going to go over here and let's pretend this is my desk. So I got my desk, and I have my phone set up on stage here too, and this is my actual work number on my actual phone connected to actual UC Manager sitting on-prem, okay? Now, I understand, Lewis, that, that you had something you really wanted to talk to me about. Is that right?
Yeah, so I'm going to give you a call, and since I've been calling lately, I think I remember your phone number.
All righty. Why don't you just give me a buzz? I'm going to pick up the phone. Hello?
Hey, Jonathan, this is Lewis from Finance, and I have a few questions regarding your recent expense report.
Oh. Okay. What did you want to know?
There seems to be a trend going on in CTG with some expensive bottles of wine now in their expense reports. Around something I think I've seen Spark on these expense reports. So.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I can explain that, but you know what, Lewis? I'm actually. Can I call you back? I just need to. Really, I'll call you back.
We really need to talk about.
Okay. So in this particular case, Lewis wants to talk to me about some important stuff, but I'm not ready to call him back yet, so I've hung up. We do love our friends in finance, though, I promise. But what I'm going to do now is later on in the day, I have some time. So I'm going about my business, and again, here's my iPhone running Cisco Spark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Calls tab, and what we'll see here is that my call with Lewis, who, again, is not a Spark user. That was a regular enterprise Prem UC phone. My call with him is right there on the top of the call recents list. So that's really cool. So now what I want to do is I have a few moments to spare, so I'm going to go and I'm going to call him back. And we'll have a conversation. This is probably a pretty sensitive conversation, though. So I'm on the road. When I get to the office, I'll probably want to pop in a conference room to complete it. But I think I've got an explanation for that expensive bottle of wine. So let me go and give him a call back. And notice through Call Service Connect, this should ring his phone.
Lewis from Finance.
Lewis from Finance. How you doing, Lewis?
I'm doing all right, Jonathan. Hopefully we have some time to talk about your recent expense reports.
Yeah. So let me explain. Okay, this is really important to understand. So this particular customer, they spend a lot of money with us, like millions of dollars. And the guy has this thing for Camus Reserve, which is awesome, if anyone's had this Cabernet. And so I'll tell you in a moment how much it was. I need a little privacy. I popped into a conference room. Let me talk to you more about this. So this particular bottle of wine, Lewis, is one of the best bottles of wine I've ever had, and it was totally worth the $500 I spent on it. Wouldn't you agree?
It may be, but you're going to need your personal credit card to put that in because I can't expense it for you.
All right. We'll work on it, but trust me, we closed a giant deal. All right, so I'll file that report. Thank you so much, Lewis. I'm going to hang up now. Thank you. All right. Was that awesome? That was awesome. So what you just saw here, let's recap this. Lewis called from his enterprise phone to my enterprise phone on premise UC. Cisco Spark knew about that meeting, that call. It showed up on my call recents. I was able to return the call from Cisco Spark using the Spark app, walk over to an available Cisco Spark room, and with one flick, transfer an enterprise UC call to a cloud-connected video system. Can anyone tell where were the boundaries between premise UC, the phones, and the video system? You can't tell. Why? It's one thing. That's what we just did. Lewis, thank you so much.
Awesome, Jonathan. Thank you.
For being a great demo partner. So architecturally, how did this work? So through a combination of the SIP interfaces that I just showed you, also we add this. So we have been building this thing called the Call Connector. And it's like the Calendar Connector. It's another component that's downloaded and installed from the cloud. It runs on premise. It's configured with your UC Manager credentials. And it talks to UC Manager first and foremost using good old CTI, which has been there for some time, as well as I don't show Axel, for those who are familiar with this. Basically plugs into UC Manager using all the technologies at our disposal to just make it magic and have all these integrations happen automatically. Now, like the Calendar Connector, it's downloaded from the cloud, installed, easy one-click upgrades, and all those UC Manager credentials are only stored on-prem. They never, ever even go near the cloud. And when I place that call through UC Manager, of course, sees it all. The CTI event goes to the Call Connector, and then it pushes that event to the cloud to add it to my call history using one of the history services that we have in the Cisco Spark Cloud. So even if I don't have a phone plugged in or a Jabber client connected, all my call history is always going to the cloud. It makes it easier for me to call back people from anywhere. So that's how it works. Really, really awesome. So what I want to emphasize, however, is what you just saw here was not just taking our existing UC features and sticking them in yet another client. That is not what this is about. What this is about is combining the unique benefits of cloud with unique benefits of premise to do something more. And you saw something more. So what were they? The first thing you saw is mobility. We took the cloud capabilities of a native HTML5 WebRTC client, no VPN, just connect over the public internet, can make and receive Spark calls, and then now I can make and receive enterprise calls and PSTN calls and all that stuff that my UC delivers. So we add that. Mobility also means handoffs. Now, we don't talk about this a lot because we have so much to say about Cisco Spark. Cisco Spark includes a handoff feature from Wi-Fi to cellular data. It's completely gapless. In fact, you wouldn't have noticed it, and that's the whole point. Try and make a call one day in your house through Cisco Spark, leave, switch, and your phone will switch to LTE, you won't even notice. Not only does the call not drop, you basically get gapless playback of media. And that's all powered by this cloud architecture we've been building. That feature, which before was just for Cisco Spark calls in its island, now applies to all of your enterprise UC calls. PSTN calls, international calls, good old 4-digit extension dialing from the Spark app now adds call handoff from cellular data to Wi-Fi. It's awesome. And you also saw video device handoff. I could literally move the call from my mobile phone to my video system. Awesome. So you get the benefits of mobility. You get the benefits of history. We persist this stuff in the cloud, as you just saw. So all the call history of my premise phones sync to the cloud, and there's all the same across my Spark clients. But better than that, we combine that with the room experience. So we didn't show this, but if I went to my Spark room with Lewis, had he been a Spark user, my room would have all my messages with him, my content with him, and also show the record of all my enterprise premise calls with him. So for example, I have this thing where someone called me last week, and I forget to call them back, and later on I start messaging them, and I want to refer back to that previous call. Hey Bob, you called 5 days ago, I took care of that for you. Now, because my calls with Lewis are in the room with him, I can easily scroll up and know exactly when we had that call, and I can reference back to it in the chat. One seamlessly designed experience. The third dimension of this is interactivity, going beyond voice to combine calls with meetings and video, to deliver zero-touch meetings, UC calls on video devices, all the demos you just saw, and this is just the beginning. Because of the cloud and the continuous delivery we can offer, this will just get better and get more features as we roll out more capabilities into our cloud, and you will just get them. Fantastic. That is Cisco Spark Hybrid Services. What do you folks think of that? Amazing. Amazing. So at this point, just to recap, Calendar Service, Call Service Connect, and Call Service Aware, which were really cool. Now at this point, you may have some questions, but one of them I want to talk about is, you saw, wow, I saw a lot today. You may be saying to yourself, there's all these new cloud things, and I got phones now, and video conferencing units connected to the cloud. How am I going to manage all this? That seems really hard. The answer you got a brief snippet of is our fantastic new Cisco Cloud Collaboration Portal. And so let me give you a demo of that. So it's been pulled up right here. And this is the home page of the Cisco Cloud Collaboration Portal. And this portal manages everything delivered from our cloud, including hybrid services. Cisco Spark services, calling, message meet, hybrid, phone devices, rooms, all managed from here, even WebEx, all managed from this central portal. And the team has worked really hard on it. And we focused on a great user experience because we want the administrator, and this is the enterprise view. We actually built a dedicated partner view, which I'm not going to have time to show you here, but again, we want our administrators to be first-class citizens. Their user experience matters just as much as the end user in our app, and we have designed this to be delightful. That is what we want. So here you see this awesome tile view, which gives me at a glance an overview of the activity in messaging, meetings, and call services. But what I want to call your attention to is something new we added, which is the conversion or adoption process. Now, Cisco Spark has a free component. Any user can go to the App Store, download the app, put in their work email address, and start using it, even if you've not, as an enterprise person, bought a license or entitlement for them. So you've got all these people who are free users whose accounts are outside of your control, using corporate email addresses in the app. We think you'd probably want to know who they are and want the opportunity to adopt them and to bring them into your organization so that now you can manage and control their account. So to do that, you'd click the Convert button here, and that would bring up this list of users. So you see Rowan Trollope, of course, went and downloaded a toy for his usage. So I want to adopt this guy, Matt. And so I could click on them, and I'm not going to do this because I'd have to go and assign licenses, and it takes a little too long. But I'd go through just a couple steps to adopt these accounts and convert them automatically into paid enterprise accounts. So that's one of the new awesome features we added with this thing. Now, you saw Rowan briefly went and list the users in the system. So here we can go back to this users. And he went through it really quickly. But I want to touch on this again, is that when you go in here and select a user, and here I've selected Matt, I can see all the stuff that I have for him. Messages, meeting services. And in fact, I see in this particular case that Matt's been enabled for a WebEx site. So I can click on that. And now this one, I'm actually not allowed to provision him on WebEx sites. But I would, as a provision administrator, if I have that right, I can actually grant him entitlements to MC25 or 500 or what have you right from this one portal. So all this stuff comes together, and it's just one meetings capability delivered from our cloud. And I ask yourself, well, how hard it is to enable calendar service for a user? Well, let's say I click on calendar service, and I'd want that feature from Matt. Here it is. You ready? You ready? Done. Now enabled. That's it. The amount of stuff, is that awesome? That's it. The workflow behind the scene for this is actually huge. So the system saves the storage in the database, kicks off a provisioning job. The provisioning job is stored reliably in our system. It starts a timer to make sure it succeeds. It talks to the calendar connector on-prem, make sure it's set up. It tells it about the new user. That thing goes into Exchange, make sure the user is there, begins a listening process on EWS, reports success to the cloud, and then that comes back and makes the green thing come on. All of that just worked when I click that one button. So making it incredibly easy to provision and manage this stuff. Now, let's talk about another dimension of this, which is devices. So we're going to have these phones and video systems connected to the cloud, and sometimes there's going to be problems with them. So you're going to know what's the situation. So here I see as an admin, I have 6 devices, 2 are yet to be activated, none of them have issues, 2 are offline, 2 are online. So I get a snapshot status of all of my devices connected. Now, sometimes you're going to have to troubleshoot these things. There's some things that you can't do from the cloud. And a lot of times there's silly little things. So a common problem is that the HDMI plug is not in all the way, right? And the people complain, oh, the video doesn't work in the room. What am I going to do? And so you have to run down to the conference room as an administrator, see what the problem is, and plug in the cable. Wouldn't it be awesome if this thing just reported the problem to you directly? Well, let's see that in action. So here I have Rowan's conference room. And actually, let me select it and bring it up so you can see it. So this is Rowan's conference room here. And the system is reporting the status as green. It's online. No problems. I'm going to make a problem. Okay? I'm going to unplug the HDMI cable. Here it is. See it? Okay? And what you see here is that main display not detected. It, in just moments, in real time, updated the status on the portal and said that thing's not plugged in. Now I'm going to fix it. You ready for this? Okay. Do a little bit of plugging. Back of this thing in. Of course, the problem with HDMI cables is you can never figure out which direction it goes back in. You try it this way, you try it that way, and you can't get it in. It's just a little tall for me. Wait, no, I got it. Unfortunately, I lack Jens Megger's height, so that's a hard demo for me. But there we go. And you can see the system now reports the problem is resolved. Amazing. Little things like this. Was that great? What did you guys think of that? Totally love that. Last thing I'm going to show you just quickly is you'll buy stuff from us from the cloud, and we'll be talking about more how the plan works. Right from within the administrative portal, you can get a snapshot of the plan, how many licenses you've purchased from us. Here you can see I've got 600 trial licenses and some room systems, all of it easily visible to me with a whole bunch of easy onboarding steps. So that is our fantastic cloud administrative portal, and we are incredibly, incredibly pleased about this technology. So what I'd like to do for you now is take you to the next topic, the next big announcement. You saw some great, fantastic new user experiences here, and there's great hybrid services, but still we knew it wasn't going to be enough. If we want to evolve this platform, if we want to deliver fantastic user experiences, we need our community, all of you, our users, our customers, our partners, the analysts, the press. We need you to help define the future of this platform. And so to do that, I'm pleased to announce Cisco Spark for developers. So what is Cisco Spark for developers? Well, it's about solving problems for our core communities. And let me touch on these. Partners. We got some partners in the room, right? Clap if you're a partner in the room. We love you guys. We love you guys. And the problem that we worry about is we want to make sure there's always avenues for value add on top of our services. And as stuff increasingly goes to the cloud, we want to make sure you have an opportunity to up-level the value add you bring to the table. And so we want to make it incredibly easy for you to add integrations and to combine our Cisco Spark Cloud services with the products and services that your customers use and love. In other words, instead of just making Cisco Spark work by plugging it in and configuring databases, like that's now automated. We're going to make that easy. You're going to make this stuff work for them and to make it part of their business workflow and their applications. And that's where the value really is. For IT, frankly, it's a similar need. We want to allow our IT customers, the people who sit at the desk at work and actually make this stuff happen, we want them to be able to plug Cisco Spark into every business application that they use in their companies and just code it up easily. We even want to empower end users who don't even necessarily know how to program to create and customize Cisco Spark and make it work for them. And we want to allow the entire ISV community of people who build all sorts of applications that need collaboration features, instead of building their own collaboration features, consume them from Cisco Spark. So those are the types of problems we wanted to solve. Now, I'm going to be a little honest here. You've probably heard some of this from us before. This is not our first play on APIs. To be totally honest, and our past efforts may not have been the resounding success that we wish they were. So one of the questions the skeptical-minded should ask themselves, and we ask ourselves this a lot, is what's different now? You've done this before, why is now going to succeed? And there are some real reasons for it, and a lot of them are grounded in real technology changes. One of them is cloud. Cloud changes everything. Cloud makes it incredibly easy to access, build, test, deploy, and use applications compared to premise software. In just a few clicks, in just minutes, application developers can be building and using applications without all the heartache of making it work and installing the software on-prem. But more importantly, cloud makes it easy to touch every customer that's connected to the Cisco Spark Cloud. So if you're an ISV, your market opportunity is the entirety of the Cisco Spark user base across every enterprise customer. That's exciting. So instead of having to go and sell a server into every single enterprise and convince each IT guy one at a time that they needed to even install your server in their code before they got benefit out of it, now it just works. That changes everything. We've also seen technology advances. This thing called REST, which is modern web-based APIs, are now the lingua franca of the internet for connecting systems together, providing a common framework on which developers can work. So now we believe is the time to make this happen. But even that said, it's still hard to be successful with this. To make this work, what do we need? Well, you know, in the past we've sort of done a build it and they will come, we hope, kind of thing. But if you really want to be successful, you want to start with a developer community that's already building UC applications. So we needed that. And another thing you need is you actually need to think about the APIs from the developer perspective in. What do the APIs need to do to enable the application capabilities that people want, rather than just exposing what our platform features do? So you have to think about it differently. You also need to have people who think passionately about developers in the same way that I think you sense we think passionately about end users. Right? And we need people who wake up every morning worried about what the developer experience is. And we need to deliver to them a modern toolkit to make it super easy to program. And that stuff is hard. And frankly, when we looked inwardly, we realized that we didn't have everything we needed to make that work. And so, as Rowan mentioned, some 6 months ago now, we acquired Tropo. And you know, they had a fantastic platform, which of course they've been continuing to improve and work on, but we wanted them to do more. So we gave them a challenge. We gave them all the capabilities of the Cisco Spark Cloud, and we let them loose on it. And we said, please go build for us the APIs and platform story on top of Cisco Spark. So that is really, really amazing. So that stuff that they built has two parts. Okay? One of them is called integrations, which is sort of a do-it-yourself capability for non-programmers. And then the second part are actually proper APIs that require development on top of them to make work. So if we look at the integrations piece of it, what is the challenge we're trying to solve? The challenge we're trying to solve is, as end users, we probably use lots of tools on the internet. I use Evernote, I use Dropbox, I have a Trello board, I use a bunch of Google Docs, and we use those to collaborate with our teams. I want to make those things work with my own Spark experience. And so what we've done is, through our integrations capability in Cisco Spark, which I'll show you in a moment, we make it trivial for end users to integrate Cisco Spark with all the rest of the services that exist on the internet. Would you like to see it working? Oh, yeah. Of course we would. So again, I'm going to come back here. And to give you an example, I'm going to go back to my Cisco Spark. And I've got a team here called my Spark support team. And these are the folks who really help me get everything done. So I've got Diane and Aisha and Will, and they work for me on like setting up my meetings and getting my presentations done. And we use lots of tools. So we use Evernote, like I said. We use, so in Evernote, for example, Diane puts all my customer briefings, and then Aisha maintains a Google Doc spreadsheet that has my upcoming trip plans. And what I've actually been able to do, and I won't show you setting it up, but I can scroll up here, and let's see how far back it is. There should be some Evernote stuff. So here, I updated a document in Evernote with some new customer notes, and that information got posted in here. And let me talk about what the problem is. Like, with all these different tools that I've got, Evernote and Google Docs, every one of them sends me independent notifications that go into my email inbox. And it becomes impossible for me to find all that stuff to see what happened and then to collaborate around it. So what I want to do is I want to plug all that stuff into this one Cisco Spark room so that when an Evernote update comes, for example, that gets posted in the Spark room and we can discuss it. And it's really easy to add more. So let me actually show you. One of the new things we have here is this integrations tab in Cisco Spark. And I can go to any room and click plus. And when I do that, I get this awesome dialog box that shows me all the integrations that we're able to plug into. There are a bunch of them that are built right in like Zendesk, but using aggregator sites like Zapier and IFT, you have access to hundreds and thousands of different applications that just with a few clicks on the web, you can plug in. In my case, I like to configure Trello. Trello is a to-do list. It's a task board. And so I have a Trello board that I use to track stuff. So I'm going to connect it in, and all I have to do is follow a familiar login flow. I'm going to authorize Trello to access my Spark account. And I'm going to pick a room here at CTO Support Team, and I'm going to pick a Trello board. Office Changes is a board I'm using to track upgrades to my home office. So I'm going to add that integration. And if the demo gods are favorable, this has always worked so far. There it is. Yay! My Trello integration is done. So there we see that Trello is now in the room. Trello is literally a bot now in the room. So let me go to Trello. I should have my Trello board up. And here's my Trello board. It's a classic to-do board. And let's say I have a new task. So I need Diane, prepare, press, slide, book. Something like that. All right. So I added a task to my bookshelf. Now, how is Diane going to know that I added this task? Well, if I switch back to my Cisco Spark, what we will see here is that automatically Trello has posted this update into the Spark room. And so Diane can now see that and start working on it. And there she's typing responses, and collaboration can continue. It was that easy to integrate Cisco Spark with the rest of the world of applications on the internet. And I didn't program. Did anyone see me write any code? No, not one line. Few clicks, and it worked for me. So that is our integration story. Was that cool? You guys like that? So that's for end users, okay? The challenge for developers, as I've talked about, is they want to be able to customize and build upon this platform, integrate it, but we knew we needed to make it incredibly easy. That's the challenge. So in order to talk more about that, I'd like to now bring up on stage Jose de Castro, CTO of Integrations and APIs. Jose, would you join me on stage? How you doing, Jose?
Doing well, thanks.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more about the APIs that you've been working on?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. You know, really, Spark for Developers is really two things. The first thing is it's a set of APIs. And we're going to show you a summary of these in just a second. Now, mind you, before we dive in, this is not all-inclusive APIs for the platform. We took a very conservative first step, and we listened to partners and customers, and what we heard was that the first thing they wanted us to focus on was room management, people management, and getting content in and out of Spark. And that's exactly what we've done. The second part of this is a fully interactive learning tool, which we call the Spark for Developers portal.
Awesome. So the APIs, what language are they in? How does that work?
Oh, well, so they're web APIs. So we follow REST principles. Every API has a URL. Any developer, any web developer on the planet can consume them right away. Now, we do have SDKs for a couple languages. We started with Java and JavaScript, but we're going to be rolling out new languages pretty much every month.
Awesome. And then you said then there's this portal, right? That's the second piece of it. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Oh, man, we poured our hearts into this portal because really, one of the challenges that we saw with traditional APIs is that unless unless it's really easy to use, developers are going to find other avenues to get things done. So we started with the documentation part first. And you know what? I could actually just show you if you want to come over.
Let's do it.
So we'll do that. So we'll go over to the portal over here. I think we have it queued up. And first off, it's absolutely beautiful. So you can take a look at that.
Wait, this is the home page?
Yeah.
The portal?
Yeah, it's not a bunch of ones and zeros. Developers are
Beautiful.
people too. They like good experiences. Yeah.
Amazing. That looks great.
Yeah, no, so this is wonderful. So you'll see Spark for Developers here, and we're going to launch straight into the docs. And what we wanted to do here was have a getting started guide, so within 5 minutes you can have your first app working. So we kind of take you through some steps, and you can right from here go to create a room, invite people to a room through the APIs, or even create a custom user directory outside of Spark. So you can take the Spark user directory and embed it into your own apps within 5 minutes.
Awesome.
Also,
do I need a developer account for this? How hard is it to get a developer account?
Zero friction. So we didn't want to have a sign-up process for Spark for Developers. We want everyone in this room to be a developer and write a little bit of code. So in order to do that, you can use your Spark login to log in and become a developer.
And now, as you can see here, that I'm logged into this portal.
Yeah, this is you right here. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Jonathan Rosenberg. So great. Another thing that we did was we created these really powerful widgets from within the portal to make the learning experience better. So you'll see I have a little bit of code right here. It's actually a command using curl. And of course, I can copy and paste this into my terminal, and it would just work. But also, I can just click on this run button. And what this will do is, as Jonathan, it's going to send a message to Sparky. Now, Sparky he's a cute little robot that we built. He doesn't do a whole lot right now, but we're going to be teaching him some new tricks pretty soon. And let's see what happens when I click on this. So I'll go ahead and run that. And
how long is that going to take, Jose?
Oh, it ran already. No, it's done. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'm going to come over to Spark here, and look at that. So you have a one-on-one chat with Sparky right now where you said, "Hi, Sparky." And Sparky said, "Woof, woof," back. Now, mind you, he's a little simple right now, but we're going to teach him some cool things. But you can see right here in this little bit of code, I could actually zoom that in for folks. Part of the code was to say, "Hi, hello, Sparky," and that's exactly what we saw in there. Yeah, fantastic. So let me take you on a little bit of a tour of the rest of the features. So I'm going to go back into the docs here, and I'm going to go to the Rooms API. And you'll see right away I get a summary of what is a room and what would I want to do with it. And here we have all of the popular HTTP methods: get, post, put, and delete. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand what some of those do.
Yep.
But just in case you don't know, right to the right, we can tell you, hey, this lists a room, creates a room. So let's go create a room real quick. Now, this is completely groundbreaking. This has not actually been done on other developer portals as well. We're actually walking the developers step by step through actually creating a room with the APIs. You'll see we're going to do a post to a URL. In this case, it's api.ciscoSpark.com/version1/rooms. And all we need here is a title. So remember that project we were working on, Project Unicorn?
Unicorn. Love
Unicorn. So we're going to create a room to talk about that. Now, I'm not doing this through the Spark app. This is actually going to trigger an API call. And wow, it's done already. So I clicked on the run button, and what the portal did was it sent a command to the Spark platform on your behalf using your developer access token to programmatically create a new room.
Awesome.
And I can prove that to you right here. I'll go over to Spark, and sure enough,
wow,
here's Project Unicorn Room, and you're the only person in there right now. Now, there's lots of other things that you can do.
Yep.
I just want to show you one more, sending a message. So I'll click into here. Again, we're going to do a post into that room. And to do that, all I would have to do is put the room ID and the text. Now, there's lots of other features that I could do here. I could actually post files and even do one-on-one messages as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Super
amazing.
cool.
And all this, what I see on the right is the actual code that's generated that goes into Cisco Spark.
Absolutely. As you're putting IDs right into here, you'll notice that the editor is automatically constructing the JSON that goes there. Fantastic learning tool.
Awesome. So, Jose, what I think we just saw is that we had an amazing API that exposes rooms, messages, the ability to create, manage those things, post files, get memberships, look at people, and then this developer portal that not only teaches me how to use the APIs, using documentation, but literally executes those APIs through a web interface. Is that what you guys built?
That's right.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Jose, thank you so much.
Thank you. Can't wait to see what you all build with it.
And you heard it from Jose, who was the CTO of Trollope. This is groundbreaking. groundbreaking interactive portal that in minutes you can actually be executing API commands in real time against your actual Cisco Spark account with just a few clicks. No one has done this before. We are first. We are incredibly excited about that. What I'd like to do for you now is make it real. And so to make it real, what we did is we went to our ISV community and we talked to our developers, folks who build applications, and we asked them, what value can collaboration add to your applications? And to help me talk about that, I'd like to call up on stage Adrian McDermott, Senior Vice President from Zendesk. Come on up, Adrian.
Hi, Jonathan.
Thank you for joining us, Adrian. Really appreciate the time. Now, I'm familiar with Zendesk. Many people probably are, but maybe not everyone. Why don't you take just a moment and tell us, what is Zendesk?
Sure. Zendesk is a customer support platform. We serve around 60,000 businesses around the world, helping them make better connections with their customers.
Awesome. And so our goal and our belief was that collaboration can make many applications better. Why don't you tell me the problems that Zendesk has where collaboration might prove valuable for your customers?
Sure, yeah. If you think about customer support in the 90s, it was about having call centers in the Midwest in bunkers and really throwing all your problems to these people. I think now modern businesses recognize that a good customer experiences are an existential threat, right? If you're providing bad experiences, you're not going to be in business very long. And customer support is a team sport. You know, you want to include the organizational knowledge of the entire company into the support process. If everyone were to buy a license for Zendesk for every employee, that would be a great thing for Zendesk.
I'm sure
but we recognize not everyone wants to get that involved in the customer support process. But what everyone can do is assist and collaborate.
I see. So the goal is to have everyone in the company assist and collaborate on solving customer problems.
Absolutely.
So why don't you show us what you guys built to solve that? Why don't we go over here? I've set up we've got a copy of our Zendesk environment here running on this machine. And we should be all logged in and set. So why don't you take us through what we've got here?
Sure, yeah. So we're looking at what this would be the agent console if I were a customer service agent of Zendesk. On the sort of the left column here, we have information about the ticket. I can see information about the user and everything else. In the middle, we have back and forth between me and customer. So I could be like, yo, submit the ticket as open, and that would be a public reply to the customer, probably a short career in customer service for me. I can also make an internal note to the team, your team, and my colleagues will see that, and I can add and CC new colleagues. In the right-hand bar here, what we have is our app tray. Zendesk plugs into 360-ish applications, and now we have an application for Spark as well. And this gives us a unique opportunity, really, to build a point in time like an incident collaboration room that an extended team can share. And, you know, in Spark and in collaboration tools, often you go in, you're like, oh, there's a developer channel, developer room, there's a customer support room. And you walk into that room, and it's really like shouting in the Great Bazaar in the middle of Istanbul, right? No one's going to hear you. You know, everyone is going to ignore you. What you actually want to do is have sort of a private interaction. So I'm going to jump into this room. And as I jump into the room that we set up, you can see that Zendesk and Spark are syncing with each other. So every update on the ticket actually appears in my Spark room and is available to all the members of the room. Everyone who is CC'd on the ticket will be in the room automatically.
Amazing.
But the goal of this ticket is actually to give some props to Francesca. So I'm going to go over here and open this up.
And Francesca, he's a developer, right, that we need some help to solve this customer case, right?
Yeah, I believe he's our RS-232 cable expert. We're going to bring him in.
I haven't heard that in a long time. Why don't we close that out, too, on the right?
Yeah, let's close this out. So I've added Francesca to our Spark room here. Let me try and mention him, see if I can get his attention. Yo.
Looks like he's heard you. It's great.
It looks like he has heard me. Hey. So if I wanted to go a little deeper, one of the cool things about messaging is that you can switch between synchronous and asynchronous in terms of your messaging. And you can also switch between channels. You know, I could hit them up on text, messaging, voice, and video. So I'm going to like hit the video button here. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a Spark video chat between myself and all of my fellow collaborators and conspirators on this ticket. And there's Francesco.
Hey.
Hey, we can hear you. It works.
Yep. Of course it works. Of course it works.
Just like it did all those times in rehearsal.
Yes.
So we're in here. We can talk. We can collaborate. We can solve the ticket. I can jump out. Thanks, Francesco. Looks like a busy office. Get back to work. I'm going to hang the call up. We could rate that I only give Uber drivers 4 stars.
All right,
Give that 4 stars. So we'll put that in there, and I can come in, and using the good work, I can say, great job, and
close that ticket.
Solve my ticket.
Awesome.
There we go.
We've just closed it faster than ever. So, Adrian, if I could just recap what I think we just saw, the problem we were trying to solve was how do we make it easier for agents to resolve issues by bringing in people who are experts who may not be dedicated support agents. And with this integration, you can actually, with one click, create a Spark room with all the agents, add anyone else in your company, share content, have a video call, and it's all in sync with Zendesk. Is that what we just saw?
Yeah, it's awesome. The opportunities for incident management, for collaboration are fantastic.
Fantastic. That is amazing. Thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for the great work. Fantastic. Just the beginning. Just the beginning. With all that we've now announced around Cisco Spark for developers, everyone, even non-programmers, all of you are now developers against the Cisco Spark Cloud. And we encourage you to go to the developer experience in the exhibit hall next door, and you can actually go build your own integration. Get it done. You'll get some swag, be entered for awesome contests. It's really worth it, and you'll truly understand the power of this platform. So please go check it out. So to wrap up for you, the stuff that I've announced here on stage, a huge amount. I announced for you Cisco Spark hybrid services, 3 new hybrid services, calendar services that fundamentally change the way you schedule meetings. And I showed you the first ever meeting on Spark and WebEx scheduled from a mobile phone. We announced Call Service Connect and Call Service Aware that bring the incredible seamless experience that Rowan talked about and makes it work with your existing UC. And then, as if that wasn't enough, we announced Cisco Spark for Developers, unleashed a new API, a new integrations capability, and an incredible best-in-class pioneering developer portal that we're incredibly passionate about. I think that's pretty good for a morning. What do you guys think? Thank you. So to close this out, I'd like to bring back on stage my boss, Rowan Trollope. Rowan, why don't you wrap us up?
Whoops. Look at that. In my excitement, my mic popped off. Okay, there we go. So that was awesome. Thank you very much, and thanks, Adrian and the team at Zendesk for helping us build one of the first integrations. We're really, really thrilled about this capability on the developer platform, candidly. Now, I wanted to talk to you about how you're going to get all this stuff. You're probably all wondering, okay, this is cool. How do I get it? And traditionally, it's been a little bit difficult to buy stuff from Cisco. And so we have really worked very, very hard to make it very, very easy for you to buy all of this incredible technology. Now, you will be buying it through our partners. So I know many of you are in the room. This is going to be available to our customers through our existing partners. So contact your partner. You can, of course, download Cisco Spark for free. So you can access the free capabilities. And by the way, we are making available free calling and free meetings with limits, free meetings up to 3 users, and some basic ability to trial and take a look at the technology. So if you want to just take a look at it, go download the Cisco Spark client for free. Once you start using it, of course, you're going to want to buy it. So you'll contact your partner, and then here's what you're going to have to do. Number 1, tell us how many users you have. Very easy. We're going to charge you on a per user, per month basis for all of the capabilities. So number 2, pick the capabilities. Do you want messaging, meeting, calling? Very simple. Make that very, very easy for you. And then finally, add hardware devices. So you can get all of the capabilities we showed you today with no hardware. You can do it all from an HTML5 native WebRTC client, or from our amazing iOS and Android and Windows mobile clients. So we have native clients on all of the big platforms that provide this capability, and we have a WebRTC capable browser version. So you can get all of the meetings capability, all of the capabilities without having to buy any hardware. But of course, we know our users love our hardware. So then the third step is you can buy our devices. You can buy as many of these phones, and we'll have 6 models coming out to support Cisco Spark. And we'll have initially the SX10, and then rolling out through the rest of the 14 other devices that we have, the SX and the MX line, for all of your room system needs. You can take all of that and plug it in if you're an existing customer to your existing capabilities, so you don't have to throw away anything that you have. It can work with everything that you already have, and you can start coding on it right away. In fact, we really want you to. And all of that capability will be available for as low as $25 for everything, or $850 for the basic service. So we're really, really excited about that. The final pricing will be set by your partners, so contact your partners. And I was told specifically to say that. So, so we tried to make it really easy to get this technology, and I think you can see that we've achieved that with that pricing model. So we're at the end of our time here today. It's been a great 2 hours with you, and I want to thank you all for coming. I think just to reiterate this idea, and we talked a lot about cloud today, and that's cool. But the underlying reason why we did all that was to deliver an incredible user experience and a magical experience. So I have to take you back to my story at the beginning, my 0G experience, and kind of lying there on the ground and then bursting out laughing with joy in sort of like this experience that I'd never had before. I hope that we today gave you a bit of a taste of those capabilities that in an industry which has not traditionally produced a lot of joy for users, we can now really start moving into a space where we deliver these magical moments for customers. Now, watching a demo is different than experiencing it for yourself. And all of you today are going to be lucky enough to, after we end the session here, go out and we're going to turn left out of the doors, and we have a whole bunch of demonstration and hands-on demonstration centers. So you're going to get to take a look at all the capabilities we showed you here today. These weren't just stage demos. This was real live working code. We want you to go experience it yourself. So when you go out, turn left and go to our demonstration centers. And for everyone online, thank you very much for joining us. And you can go to ciscospark.com to learn more, and again, developers.ciscospark.com to go ahead and start coding and writing your own platforms and integrations. So take a look at all we've got. Thank you for coming. I wish you all have a terrific week, and let's celebrate and go take a look at the products. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you.